Mama, I've been struggling big time. And I'm already an indecisive person, but I don't know. It just need to be talked about. So let's get right into the episode. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning into the Mommy and Then Some podcast. If you're new here, my name is Naya, or you can call me Mommy Nye. I'm a stay-at-home mom of two. And if you're not new here, hey, mama. Listen, I'm also a mom that's going through her journey right now of just really trying to figure out like my core values, how I want to move as a person, how I want to raise my children, the things that I like, the things that I don't like. And I'm tapping into like educating myself again. I'm tapping into, I guess, like looking into things at a deeper level. Not so much about how I was raised, not so much about what I was taught, not so much about what others have to say. I mean, you could do those things, but I feel like you should definitely take it with a grain of salt and try to move like at your own pace for real. And I'm saying all this because clearly we know a big event has happened recently, the presidential election. In my own personal life, I've mentioned before on my podcast that I'm dealing with things about how I was raised growing up Jehovah's Witness. And I'm not big into politics at all. At all. At all. And I really want to make that clear for a number of different reasons. And we all have our viewpoints and our stances. I'm not here to argue about that point. I feel like everybody makes a decision based on what they want to make their decision about. But I do want to make sure that at least when it comes to myself, I'm educating myself. You know, like I just... So for instance, the reason behind the politics thing, why I stand firm on my decision of whatever I choose when it comes to politics, I feel like it's because I have for what I feel like, a clear understanding about what I'm doing or what I'm not doing. And if I don't do that, I feel like it's a disservice to me, myself, and my children. And my loved ones, to be honest, because of course certain things may come up in topic of conversation when it comes to religion. I don't know, like lately what's been on my mind heavy is just educate myself, no matter what that's about, right? So of course, I brought up the politics thing. I'm talking about the religious thing, but not necessarily because I'm still going through my journey with that, like most people are. But like, for instance, clearly, if you've known a Jehovah's Witness, you know that Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate holidays. Now, a lot of the times I know how to explain why I don't celebrate or I didn't celebrate holidays without it just being, oh, because I was raised Jehovah's Witness, or yeah, because Jehovah's Witnesses don't do that. Because that's not a real reason, you know? So even taking it on a deeper level, and again, there are people that are not quote unquote religious at all that don't celebrate holidays. And if you ask yourself why, again, take time to educate yourself and do your research and understand that a lot of people don't do things based off of origin or where it came from. And that's kind of what I've been struggling with lately, is where anything, it don't matter what it is, politics, religion, holidays, why I put my left shoe on first, why I decide to only put butter and jelly on my toe. Like, I get so obsessed with trying to figure out how things started and kind of like how they turn out to be how it is like in this day and age. So it's crazy because, again, like I said, I've been wrecking my brain. Me and my partner have been having conversations just about things that, of course, because we have children, how we're going to manage, how we're going to get through life with those said values or decisions that we make, I guess you can call it. And it's funny because outside, or let me say this, no, not outside looking in. I feel like it's inside looking out into the world. I do feel like a lot of the times, and it's myself included, may go along with something just because truthfully it is what somebody else is doing. You don't want to be made to be the oddball of the situation, which I can wholeheartedly understand. But then it makes you, or I guess I could say it makes me question myself sometimes, as in my integrity for self or what I believe. Like, am I just going to constantly change my viewpoints or go with the flow because everybody's going with the wave. But a lot of people like to talk a good game of, oh, I do what I want to do. Well, do you really? So again, set aside, at least for what I've been kind of striking my mind about, set aside the religious aspect of celebrating a holiday. There are things behind those holidays and why they came up, how they came to be about. The different what do you want to call them? I don't want to call them props, but just the different things that are involved. For instance, like the Easter Bunny, looking into deeply why you dress up for Halloween, different things like that. It has meaning behind it, and when you're raising your kids, it's like a lot of people I hear, because I like to get other perspectives from other people. So I'm always open to conversation, mature conversation about it. I don't, want to go into the name calling, doing none of that. So drop it in the comments. Let me know how you feel. Let me know your perspectives. But what I was saying that is just a lot of times when it comes to like things like holidays, for example, people just like to say, especially when it comes to the kids, that they're just having fun. Again, I wholeheartedly agree, because kids, especially at a certain age, you have to make sure it's age appropriate, that they understand why or why not you're doing something. So yeah, at 2-3 years old, are they really going to grasp the whole concept of the whole meaning behind a holiday or whatever tradition? Again, just compare it to anything that you do or you don't do and think of the purpose why. No, at a young age, they may not get it, but as they grow up, they will. And they may start to question things and wonder why this happened in order for them to have a great life, And that's something that I do kind of worry about in a way. And I was talking with my good sis Amber, and even my spouse said it too, which I hear it and I kind of get where they're going with it, but like kind of don't wreck my brain with all of that stuff that may come about. Or let me say this, don't wreck my brain with the things that the children may question or have doubts about when they get older. Just kind of approach it as that time comes, which again, I have my thoughts about that. I hear why that may be of importance, because again, I am kind of low key stressing out or just wrecking my brain about certain things when it comes to that, because I've heard, especially with, intelligent children, as they grow older and learn that certain things may or may have not been true, they start to question the parents and be like, oh, well, why would you do this or why would you do that? And our son is very intelligent. Again, and I'm not kind of trying to compare or play down anybody else's children. I'm only speaking for what I can speak for in my household and my family. When those questions come about, what am I supposed to say? Like, it's always this like, I guess you're going to call it like two sides of the story thing. Well, I guess maybe like choose your difficult. It's always going to be a struggle to each thing. So for instance, you tell the truth behind a holiday and your child may take it one way. You don't tell the truth around a holiday or whatever you're doing, and the child may take it another way. So it's always like that back and forth thing, and you just have to decide what's best for you. But again, I think the biggest thing for me is like, it's just making me lean more towards educating myself and just making the best decision that I can for me and my family. Like, if it just doesn't make sense to me, it's kind of hard for me to sit back and just be like, oh, well, I don't agree with it, but I want my children to have fun. So to hell with it. I'm just going to do it anyway. Like, tell me where that really makes sense. Tell me where. It makes me wonder, like, because I'm gonna just be transparent. Again, these are the issues that I'm dealing with. So it could be totally different from you versus, whatever it is in your life that you may struggle with when it comes to how you raise your children. But again, it's just been heavy on my heart, at least with the holidays. And to be transparent, I've celebrated holidays and I haven't celebrated holidays. I have both ends of the spectrum, I guess you could say, both ends of the situation here. And I don't know, always in the back of my mind, I understood what was going on here. And of course it felt fun to do it. Of course it felt fun to be like, within the cahoots of it all. But like, for instance, I knew that a lot of the times when my family celebrated holidays, we weren't looking at it because we knew better. I feel like, again, it's like a once you know better, you do better type thing. We weren't looking at it as in, oh, this is like the traditional meaning behind holidays. And I feel like that's the same route that I would want to go with my children. So, of course, because me and my spouse view things a little bit different, he is one of those people that, it's like, oh, well, let's just let the kids have fun. Let's play to their imagination, da da da. And I'm like, okay, that's cool and all. But certain things, why can't we just make it our own and turn it into whatever tradition that we're going to turn it in for our children? Because when you start introducing certain things, that just opens up the door for so many questions. And I've just been struggling, y'all. I'm already an indecisive person, which I know that's not good either. But again, because I just feel like it's just so much noise around me that tries to help shape that decision that I'm making. But I'm really just leaning more towards kind of really like what is just like common sense, making sense about a situation. Whereas if you avoid certain things, like the corners around a lie, or like if you avoid, okay, let me just give a example. If you avoid kind of teaching the kids that Santa is real or not, again, that can shape just the dynamic of the relationship and what your child may think later. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. Like, those things have just been heavy on my mind. Because I feel like, why, when I see other people do certain things, why can't that be compared to everything? I feel like a lot of the times it just depends on values of a person, if you kind of get where I'm going with that. So some people may take, they may not look at holidays like a big deal, but I don't know, a stupid example could be, we need to make sure that, a tradition that we make sure everybody's in the house before we have dinner for the most part. Like, what's your drive behind that? Some people may just take matters stronger than others. And I don't know, again, holidays and just the meaning behind a lot of things really is my drive. It's like, why not? Like, but yeah, I don't know, mama. I just thought I'd come on here and just kind of get it out, because I've been seeing, again, just with a lot of the things that's happening in the world, I don't think that a lot of people are going based off of as much as they can make out of it common sense. I don't think that people are going, like, doing their own research and making decisions. And it's just leading me to be more and more going towards that way. Just like, I don't care what nobody else say. These are the facts, and this is the education that I've given to myself. It doesn't make sense, so I'm not doing that. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I haven't been seeing that a lot lately, which is a little scary. You gotta have a little bit of common sense. Am I perfect? Not at all. Not at all. But it's like, I do wonder, like, what are people's values? What is the purpose behind what somebody is doing? Like, I just think it's so important, especially like trying to raise the children that we're trying to raise to be the next generation in our world. It really can't be, because so-and-so said it and I'm going to do it because my friends is doing it. No, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So I just thought I'd come on here, and again, whatever this compares to in your life. I know these are just a few of the things that's been on my mind heavy. I just wanted to come on here and talk to you about it, mama, because again, this is a space where we're not always going to talk about just motherhood. We may talk about womanhood. We may talk about the things that we're struggling with. Again, this is supposed to be a community where we can all feel seen and heard. And I know I'm not tripping when I say I know some of y'all got to be feeling the same way. Like, the drive behind what you're doing, it just matters. It matters. I don't care what you say. It matters, and it shapes how your children grow up. It shapes how you move through life. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Let's talk about it. And I'm open to, again, mature conversation. Drop it down in the comments. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button below. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification icon so that you can get updates on when I post my new podcast episode videos. And I post other content too. And also make sure you share. Share this because, again, I cannot do it without you. We have to grow this community because I know there are a number of women out there that may be thinking the same thing that we think, want to talk about certain things that may not be talked about enough. Let's do it. As always, I want you to remember that you are heard, loved, seen, and understood, mama. You are never alone. See you in the next episode.